This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Oops. Didn't mean to hit that button quite yet. We were still counting down, and my finger slipped, and we started the show. But just as well, who wanted to listen to that music for 20 more seconds, right? Welcome to the LowcoSports Lowdown. Justin Jarrett, a faceless Wes Kerr who is driving home from the at 10.
This is going to be like it's going to be like hockey shifts early on the show. I got to go on for a few minutes, and then Max is going to come on, and then I'm going to come back on again. So.
We'll be in and out tonight, but should be a good show tonight. We got Wes was out at the den where the Bobcats took care of Los Canes. Valiant effort from Los Canes, but just not quite enough in the tank there. Wes will tell us more about that in a bit, as well as some other high school soccer. We'll let Wes get home before he tells us all about the match. Some other high school soccer around the area. We're not going to have anything tomorrow except for the USCB
the
game.
Big one.
All the high school stuff is wiped out. Beaufort and Jasper schools both closed tomorrow. Day off for JJ until 7:30 p.m. in the Cove when we have USCB versus Lander, first round of the Peach Belt Conference Tournament. You will be able to catch it on the Sand Shark Game Day Network, but you will have to pay for it. $10, it sounds like, is the one-time stream, and $20 if you want the whole tournament package, which I'll tell you, there's going to be 7 really good basketball games in this tournament. So $20 is nothing to be able to watch all 7 games in this tournament. I think
I wonder if they do they should have a quad screen option where you can watch all of them at once.
That would be amazing.
That would be great.
That would be something. Absolutely.
That would be absolutely amazing. But let's save that discussion because in just a couple of minutes, we're going to be joined by our new friend, Jeff Riley, who has been joining me on the broadcasts for the USCB games. He's so cool. He's part of the Best Buddies program over there. He's actually a senior at USCB, about to wrap up his degree. He's doing phenomenally.
That's incredible.
And he's hoping to, after he finishes his degree, audit some broadcasting courses over at USCB because he's got the bug, my friend, my fellow broadcasting friend. And you and I have both been really impressed at how excited he's gotten about it, how serious he's been about it, and how he's taking it seriously. He wants to get good at this. He wants to work for NESN, covering Boston sports. That's his dream.
There you go. Is that where he's originally from?
Yes, he is. And we'll get him in here in just a second.
Gotta get Kevin to meet him because Kevin's the biggest Boston sports fan.
Right. And Wes is a Red Sox fan.
And Wes, of course, as well.
But so before we get him in here, got to shout out the presenting sponsor tonight, our all-star sponsor, Mickelson Law Firm. Been with us since the beginning back in 2017 and still supporting everything that we got going on here at Loco Sports and many of the teams around the Loco. Just tremendous people, very generous, and love building community through sports just like us. So if you have legal needs, call in Mickelson Law Firm, our official real estate closing attorney and presenting sponsor of the Loco Sports Lowdown and our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage. And they present tonight our special guest, Jeff Riley. What is up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing really good, man.
Great, Jeff.
How you doing, Marcus?
Doing great.
Great to have you on the show.
Tuesday.
And maybe people have not been listening to the broadcast, so they aren't clued into our relationship and how we became friends and how we got you on the broadcast. But so Jeff is, like I said, a senior at USCB, finishing up in his degree. He's part of the SOAR Special Recreation Athletics. So they compete in the Special Olympics, and Jeff has competed in a number of sports, but he's one of the basketball players who put on the show at halftime during a game a couple weeks ago. And leading up to that, before that, Jeff was the master mopper. You get out there with your little Sand Shark mop and mop up that sweat so they don't hurt themselves. And you're the best of the best. You run out there even when the ball's in play at the other end and get it mopped up real quick and get out of there so they don't have to stop the game. But we were talking one night, eating our meal in between games, and Jeff said, well, what do you do? I told him he does a good job mopping that floor. He said, what do you do during the game? So I told him, and he said, oh, that sounds pretty cool. I think I might like that job better than mopping. So we started getting him in on the second quarter of a couple of games, and then you did the whole women's game with me the other night, buddy. And
I did. Yeah.
And I've had so much fun calling the games with you. We wanted to bring you in tonight and share your story, but more importantly, share some insight that you have, because you're around these guys all the time. You become a good friend to a lot of the basketball players, so you got this inside knowledge. What's the vibes over there? They feeling good?
Yeah, Kyle sent me a text message, and he said they're ready to play and with lots of energy tomorrow. He said.
Yeah, that's Kyle Pulse. He's one of the senior leaders for that team, and your favorite guy, and one of my favorites for sure, Alejandro Relat. I know you were talking to him this week as well.
Yeah, yeah, he came. He stopped by our practice yesterday evening at a special practice. Yeah, so he's all ready for the game.
That's outstanding. He came by your practice. Do you practice there on campus, or were you practicing somewhere else?
Practice on campus. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cool. You get to practice where the Sand Sharks play. That's pretty amazing.
On the same floor that Alejandro plays on, and Kyle, all those guys.
That's the greatest, man. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I know, obviously, the women, their season came to an end, but you're a big fan of those ladies as well, and they really grew a lot this season. I think it's going to be special next couple of years.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
we're gonna miss those seniors, though, right?
Yeah, we're gonna miss Kyle's a senior, and Alejandro's a senior. Yeah,
Bart and Shania and Jackal.
Jackal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you also were telling me that you saw today there was some news out of USCB
about the Sand Sharks of the month. Dominic.
Oh no, the Gremlins have got. He's been getting gremlined a little bit, but he'll be back momentarily. But he'll tell us about the Sand Sharks of the month. What a cliffhanger! He was saying Dominic Eason there, the sensational freshman, 6'7" out of Toombs County. And I've got a clip that I can show you real quick while we wait for Jeff's gremlins to clear up.
There
he is.
Oh, he's back.
You were saying Dominic Eason was the Sand Shark of the month?
Yeah, Sand Shark of the month. And Lydia Katozzi is the women's Sand Shark of the month. Yeah. All
right. Great choices, I think.
Yeah.
Dominic Eason, let me put this up here and see what you think about this, Jeff. You remember this play right here? It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Oh! I know Marcus saw that one. You were sitting right in front of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was an awesome play.
Unbelievable play. We got to see it one more time because it's just disgusting. Up off the glass. Eason there for the rebound. Reaches back to get it. Windmills it in. What a tremendous player. I can't believe he's a freshman.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Scary.
Hopefully he does that. Hopefully he does that tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just gets that arena so hyped up when he throws down the slam.
Yeah.
It gets so loud in there, huh?
Yeah, it was loud. A lot of signs, and hopefully tomorrow.
Yeah, the signs were cool. I hope we do the signs again. I like the signs. What was your favorite sign, Jeff?
I don't know. Tomorrow's blackout night. I heard too. You have to wear.
They're wearing those thick black jerseys.
Yeah, and all fans should wear black.
That's
black
right.
Shirts. Yes,
that's right. Bust out your black tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then of course we would be remiss if we didn't mention our friend Finnegan. And your friend Jacob, who is now the new mascot security for Finnegan.
Security, yeah.
And he did a fine job the other day too. I saw him go down the floor.
Oh yeah,
mighty.
He's taking care of Finnegan. He's not anybody getting his way.
And I got Finnegan something too. Back in December when I got Finnegan this lucky shamrock necklace. So hopefully he wears it for St. Patrick's Day for the game tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so.
So it's a lucky shamrock necklace. Where'd you get that necklace?
I got it from Boston. It's like a shamrock that says Celtics on it. Yeah. So hopefully that will bring guys luck tomorrow. Hopefully Finnegan wears it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He better wear it. If he's not wearing it and we fall behind, he better get it on.
He better get it on. Yeah, he better get it on. Yeah.
But you're a big Boston sports fan. You grew up there?
Yeah.
Oh no, did he get gremlined again?
He's getting gremlined again.
He's been gremlined again. We got to get Jeff better Wi-Fi connection, I guess. Kind of gremlining out on us, but he always does come back, so he'll be back here shortly. But big Boston sports fan, as many of our friends here on Team Loco are. And here's what I was looking for. You back, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
All right, you gremlined out for a second there. But yeah, you're a big Boston sports fan. You said you grew up in Boston?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I found out my buddy Jacob, him and his dad were originally from Boston.
Really? This guy here, Jacob, the mascot.
I found out yesterday at practice. Yeah, that guy there, Jacob. Yeah.
I'll be darned. How about that?
Yeah, he's from Boston. Yeah, originally.
Jacob is awesome. He got this job, mascot security, because, well, first of all, he's a great shooter on the basketball court. He made a couple shots the other night, and he got the crowd hyped up, huh? He was popping his jersey and everything. It was awesome. But then he was also hyping up the crowd. He was hyping up the crowd good. And in between when it was crunch time the other night. So and he defended our buddy Finnegan, who is phenomenal. I mean, got to be the best mascot. Obviously, he's the best in the Peach Belt. That's why he was named the Peach Belt Conference Mascot of the Year for the second year in a row. But he's got to be one of the best in the mascot realm. He's tremendous.
Yeah, and Jacob's done like 3-point contests in Special Olympics, and he's done everything, swimming. And
yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, you were going to give us an update on the Special Olympics. I know that the bowlers were down in Baton Rouge last week.
Yeah, Baton Rouge. Yeah, so I don't have any updates for that yet. But
you haven't. I'm
gonna try to get it, and then maybe next time when I come on, I'll have some updates for that.
There you go. Yeah, you let me know when you have an update, and we'll get an update. Get you in here for an update. And your basketball event is coming up soon, right? Do you have the dates for that?
In April. I'm not sure the exact dates, but it's coming up in April. Yeah.
All right. So that'll be, as I understand it, sort of like the state championship where you try to win and make nationals, right?
Yeah, win and make nationals. Yeah. See if we can.
Absolutely. And what are the other sports you play besides basketball?
Bowling. I'm practicing bowling as well with basketball. Yeah. So. Yeah.
What's your best game bowling? Mine's not very good. I bet yours is better.
170 a while back.
Better than me.
Yeah, you're beating me easily.
Yeah.
I'm trying to break 100 usually. Yeah. I might get in a groove and roll like a 130, 140 every once in a while, but most of the time I'm trying to.
What's the blue moon for me on that?
Yeah. I think I had one magical time in high school where I rolled like a 179, and I've never even come close to that again. Not even close. So yeah, I'm not a good bowler. I might be better now.
I'll teach you how to.
Yeah, maybe now that I'm getting good at softball pitching, maybe I'll be better.
Oh yeah, that'll work.
Maybe I'll be better at bowling.
Same.
I'll just throw it. I'll just wind up and throw it like a softball. That could be dangerous. Well, Jeff,
who's your favorite Boston athlete?
Well, I think Jeff is gremlined again. Once again, he is gremlined. But
yeah, I'll teach you how to bowl.
Okay, sounds good. Marcus had a question for you.
Who's your favorite Boston athlete?
I like David Ortiz. He was the best.
He was a great one.
That's a great choice. Great choice.
Tremendous choice.
Outstanding choice. Well, looking ahead to the game tomorrow, which is really the reason we brought you here to talk about that. We got USCB hosting Lander. I'm sure you remember every detail about the last time we played Lander, like you always do. You remember that game?
Yeah, it was a close game.
Well, it was a close game when we played them up there, but when they came here, we beat them pretty good. We beat them by 20. 86 to 66. So it was that one that we didn't have to sweat about. Well, we've had to sweat every other game, but that one we didn't have to sweat. That was the one against Lander. I think we're going to have to sweat it tomorrow. You expect a close game?
Yeah, I expect a close game. Yeah. It's going to be, and we're going to come out on top.
To finish. Yeah, I think so too. I feel good about it. And, I think that Finnegan's lucky Shamrock and just the energy in the Cove. I think it's going to be a good night for the Sand Sharks.
I definitely think so. Yes,
definitely. I do too.
Well, hey, you giving him high fives coming out of the lineup, and
Oh yeah, do you get in there? You get in the?
Yeah, I get in there when they introduce them. I give them high fives over there when they come out.
That's so cool.
There you go.
That gives them positive energy too.
Absolutely. Well, you are nothing but positive energy, my friend. If you've been paying attention, he hasn't stopped smiling the whole time he's on here. I've never seen him stop smiling. He's smiling every time I've ever seen him.
I agree.
Living life to the fullest, enjoying every minute, Jeff. I love it.
And then after the season ends, some of the players are going to go bowling with me and Jacob.
That's awesome.
Insider.
I love that.
Yeah.
You're going to get out to some of the baseball and softball games?
I'm going to try, yeah.
Well, I know they need people to broadcast those, so I don't know if you know baseball and softball as well as you know basketball, but you know basketball.
Yeah, I know basketball, and I know baseball a lot too, so I know that.
Yeah, well, I mean, David Ortiz is your favorite athlete. I'd say you probably watched a good bit of baseball.
Yeah, I have. And Jason Veritek, he's really cool.
Yeah, good one.
Jason was
good call. That's a good call.
Not too long ago.
That's a true baseball fan type pick.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a good response.
Only a true baseball fan knows how valuable Jason
gritty
Veritek
guy.
It's a great guy. And also, when I was at spring training at the old facility down there in Fort Myers, I was wearing one of my Special Olympics medals, and Jason Veritek signed an autographed baseball for me. So that's how kind.
That's amazing.
There you go.
Yeah. Was that at the new spot, JetBlue, or the old spot in Fort Myers at City of Palms?
City of Palms. That's
okay. I've been there many times because USCB, when they used to be in NAIA and they played in the Sun Conference tournament, they always played that at City of Palms. So I've spent a lot of time down there with the Sand Sharks. It's a cool park, but that new one, JetBlue, is amazing.
Yeah, I saw it when it was the empty field when they were building it. So
yeah, you'll have to get back down there sometime. Maybe next year we'll make a little spring training road trip with Team Loco and go watch some games, and you can check out JetBlue. Oh no, Jeff is gremlin again. Oh, it's always at the worst time.
Yeah.
We're waiting for Jeff to say
after you ask a really good question or make a really good comment.
Right. We're waiting for him to say something profound and the gremlins come in. But man, Jeff is the best. I've really enjoyed calling games with him this year. And
he's one of a kind for sure.
So yeah, that'd be cool to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be tremendous. You heard it. Good. I was wondering if you heard that question. But well, hey Jeff, are you gremlin again?
Looks like it.
Sure is. When he gets back in here, we'll give him a proper send off and definitely invite him back anytime with his Special Olympics updates and his Sand Shark insights. Great guy, and I know Marcus, you talked to him about getting him in on some of your broadcasts as well.
Yeah, we'd love to have him in on football, sideline interview and whatnot, and then
there he is.
I've got my second quarter guest for the guys' games of the week during our basketball season next year, and we'll get out to Beaufort and the surrounding areas, like I mentioned the other day.
Well, Jeff lives in Beaufort,
that's right. That's why I was definitely leaning towards that. So we'll definitely be reaching out and checking to see how things are going. Great news, certainly, about what you'll have going on in Special Olympics.
Yeah,
Kathy Kramer, she's one of a kind. I've worked with her in the past, and great stuff that's going on there.
Yeah.
Well, hey Jeff, any last words of wisdom or insights you want to share with us before we let you go for the night?
I think Alejandro is going to have an awesome game tomorrow because he wants to prove himself for being since he got drafted by Puerto Rico. He wants to prove himself, so he's going to have a strong game tomorrow.
I think you're right, and I think as he goes, the Sand Sharks will go. If he has a big game, I think they win. Because he's kind of the glue. He and Kyle Pulse, I think, are the two guys that really lead them. Yeah, they're big time leaders. Well, hey Jeff, it was awesome to have you on tonight. We're definitely going to make it a regular thing, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow night at the Cove, buddy. I know you'll have a smile on your face.
Yep, I can't wait either. That's gonna be fun.
All right, we'll talk to you real soon. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Take care. Have a good night,
buddy.
Rest well.
Okay.
That's Jeff Riley, everybody, our buddy from SOAR Special Recreation and USCB and just gosh, what a great guy. He's brightened my life the last couple of months, getting to know him and spend time with him. And I'm excited to help him continue to navigate this journey of trying to do what we do. It's fun. It's fun. Everybody who loves it should get to do it, right?
His energy is contagious and infectious, and you want to be around people like that.
That's right.
Jeff is absolutely terrific.
That is absolutely it. And so I appreciate Jeff joining us tonight, and we'll definitely get him on another time. Quickly going to shout out a couple of our Loco Booster Club sponsors. We welcome back Hudson's Seafood House on the docks to the Loco Booster Club. Great place for seafood, sunsets, and cocktails on Hilton Head Island. And they're the presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. We'll have a new episode coming out Thursday night on the Loco Media Network. New sponsor, Hilton Head Furniture. Great furniture made in the USA, right up in North Carolina, and they're just a cut above the box stores, and just you can't find quality furniture these days. They don't make it like they used to, Marcus Walsh, but they do up in Hickory, North Carolina, and they bring it down to Hilton Head Furniture. So if you need new furniture, invest in the good stuff with Hilton Head Furniture, our Loco Booster Club member. Marcus, you been out to Long Cove the last couple of days for the DRI?
I went out there today.
Yeah,
was able to get out there, beat the raindrops, and talk to Bob Patton, get a little bit of action in the mid-morning, early afternoon window, if you will, and then just took a look at the scores just a little while ago to update myself. It's going to get real interesting because of the weather that we've got coming in tomorrow as we welcome Wes in. And
back here for a minute. Back here in the setup for but
back in the Boston room. You just missed Jeff Riley. Yeah. He's a big Boston sports fan. But yeah, Marcus was
excited about the Red Sox this year, as I mentioned earlier. But great to be back and great to watch some soccer tonight. And despite that final scoreline, I was impressed. I was impressed from what I saw with the Hurricanes and how they competed for the full match. But Bluffton, they've got some solid talent. That's going to be a competitive squad in that region. I'm pumped to see what Bluffton can do, especially against some squads like Hilton Head, Bishop England, and May River. But from what I've seen two of the teams so far. I've seen Hilton Head battle a strong draw against Benedictine, and Bluffton putting it on as you would expect to see against a Hardyville team that's trying to find their way. And of course, it's a team that Bluffton should be able to beat. But at the same token, I'm liking what I'm seeing from this Hardyville squad. I think they're continuing to grow as a unit. They're competitive late in terms that they were blocking shots. They were putting some pressure defensively on Bluffton, and they've found a couple opportunities late. They had a great look at goal with about a couple minutes to go, and I thought that was going to go in, but Bluffton's goalie made a solid save to keep the clean sheet intact for the Bobcats. But it's a tremendous performance for Bluffton in this one, and the big standouts. So I pull up the roster here. Was Eder Chavelas, the junior, who I believe put up a hat trick in this game. I'll have to double check that when I see the statistics, but he was prevalent alongside a few others. This Bluffton team, I think they can be an important factor in this region. They've got a terrific back line that was solid for most of the night, and they have a few dynamic forwards as well. It's a pretty solid team, and one that should be able to compete against some squads like maybe Bishop England and the like. So watch out for Bluffton. I think they're going to be competitive, but just all credit to Hardyville for how they battled and the heart they showed the game like this, having to go on the road in a tough environment against Bluffton. I'm pumped to see what Hardyville can do in their classification 1A. I think that they should be able to really compete well once they go up against teams comparative to their caliber in 1A soccer. So it was great to see the Hardyville players and the coaching staff, and they even gave me a Hardyville hat. So I finally have some Canes gear.
I believe you got an official Cane softball visor, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Did it?
Is that what you got? I thought you got a visor.
It was, yeah. It's in the car. Yeah. I forgot to bring it out, but
I think Coach Rayleigh also had one of these for you, but you got away from him before he could give it to you.
Oh yeah, I was on the Bluffton side of the second half because a lot of the action was on that side. So
sure, we'll make sure we get it to you. But we got you your Canes apparel that was requested. Yeah. Coach Rayleigh took care of that today. Yep. So no, good showing out there. Marcus, you were starting to tell us about the Darius Rucker.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell you what, it was a great start to my day out there. Beautiful day to start, and then it got a little bit cloudy, and obviously we saw some rain later on. But Arkansas and South Carolina are leading the way right now.
Ooh,
LSU not too far behind at 9 over. Arkansas and South Carolina both at 5 over, leading the pack. Last year's winner, Arizona State, is at 11 over. Wake Forest has won the tournament in recent years. They are at 14 over. I really had my eye, and especially in talking to Bob Patton, on Vanderbilt and Texas, two teams that obviously come from the SEC that haven't done much in this tournament. It had been a long time since Vandy won, going back to 2012. They're both in the middle of the pack, but there are some teams that really have been struggling the first couple of days. You see Ohio State towards the bottom. Last year was their first year in the tournament. Auburn is a team. Auburn and Alabama both have done a lot of great things. They're near the bottom. Northwestern near the bottom. So it looks like it could very well be, again, pending on what happens tomorrow,
right,
a battle between Arkansas and South Carolina.
Ooh, all SEC.
My wonder is about with the severe weather in the morning.
Yeah,
that's why I went out today. Because I didn't want a chance possibly running into that tomorrow.
Let's see. So all the tee times, it says right now they're from 7:30 to 9:50, trying to get them in. Although the weather starts early tomorrow, or like mid to late morning, from what I saw in terms of.
Could even be a little bit earlier than that, from what I've seen, Wes. It could start anywhere from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the morning. So
okay, that is going to be.
I think what they're going to end up doing, and this is kind of what I heard, obviously speculation.
Yeah.
I think what they'll end up doing is seeing if they can start and then obviously have a delay and just see how things happen after that.
Well, what I saw is that it could clear up by mid-afternoon.
It's supposed to be sunny.
Yeah, like it's gonna be sunny. When we're heading to the Cove, it could be sunny skies over there as we get ready.
Good to go then.
Yeah. Well, that's very true. But it depends on how the conditions are on the course. How are things around the area? I mean, we could, hopefully not, but we could.
It has to be the course has to be playable. If it's too wet,
and the thing is, they'll delay it and then play as much as they can, and if they can find a way to finish it by sundown tomorrow night, they'll do that. But I'm sure they have a contingency plan where if they have to finish Thursday morning, they'll finish Thursday morning. So it's just all depending on what happens tomorrow, say from 9 o'clock to about noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because it's going to be right around that time, 3 or 4 hours, where it's going to be wet. It's going to be windy, and there was wind today, which Bob Patton was telling me was definitely a factor.
It was windy.
We saw some of it yesterday as well. Another key note that I actually talked to him about exclusively in the interview, I mentioned Alabama just a moment ago. Georgia's in this boat as well, where those teams are not ranked, surprisingly.
Yeah.
The other teams in this tournament this year in the top 40.
Rankings. Yeah. Well,
everybody,
look at that leaderboard. You got number 2, number 5.
You've got Arkansas, 8, 9, South Carolina, 2 and 5, and it just goes on down the list. But we're not looking at America's top 40 with Casey Kasem necessarily, but we're talking the top 40 of women's golf teams in Division I, and so it's an even more special year for that. And it's a great tournament. I mean, I go out just about every year to cover it, and it's one of my favorite things to do for WHHI all year long, especially in the spring. It's just great. You know that spring is really truly around the corner when you're out at the DRI. Much like Heritage, but it feels a little bit more like spring. Sometimes it
Yeah,
can
that
feel like
means
the
summer's
summer
coming.
Heritage.
That means summer's coming.
That's right.
When you see the sundresses on 16, summer's
That's
coming.
Right. And we are planning on going to the Heritage this year, I think. I'm going to try to get some tickets. I already saw that Saturday's sold out. But I'm going to try to get some tickets for Sam and I at least to go, because she's never
ain't
been.
your daddy's Heritage no more, man.
It's been a while since I was out there.
You gotta get a ticket nowadays.
2019 was the last time I was out there, of course, working.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Hey,
so
we gotta get you back out there. We got 5 of the top 7 teams in this tournament right now are top 10 teams. I mean, that's crazy work.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, in team golf, 10 shots is nothing. Like,
no, I mean, you really divide it by what, 4 or 5 minutes, however
4.
many.
Yeah, I mean, divide it by 4.
It's really, so you really, it's like a 2-shot lead.
Much. It's nothing. So, I think obviously Arkansas and South Carolina are the front runners, but I'd say LSU, Arizona State, Wake Forest are all very much in this, and maybe even Vandy.
Yeah.
Especially if the weather gets, if the course is wet and soggy, if they play it in the afternoon after the storm. I guess the wonder is or the worry would be any kind of damage on the course, any down limbs or things like that. Are going to have to get bunkers fluffed, all that kind of stuff.
And I'll tell you what, South Carolina's got a couple of really good players, especially Hannah Darling. And then don't count out Arizona State with Grace Summerhays. I interviewed her last year, and I am so impressed with her game. Arizona State, the winner of the tournament last year, and I believe Grace was one of the top 4. Actually, there were 5 finalists for the individual awards. Typically, there's only 4, but there was a tie in there. There was a girl, I believe, from Texas last year that actually had to head home early, so she wasn't part of the finalists awards that Maria Soden and I saw last year. But look out for those players too, talking about the individual awards for players and what they can do. As you take a look at the list right there.
Yeah.
That's some great names on that list.
That's up for grabs too. Todd with a 1-shot lead, but you got 4 girls right there, just two shots back. So it's going to be fight to the finish over at Long Cove.
And the weather will play a big part of it, you would think, with be a frenzied fight to the finish, especially.
No question about that. But our friend Max Araj has popped in, or had popped in. Now there he is. There that man. What's up, man?
What's up?
How you doing? Working hard over in Beaufort. We got state tournaments still going on, right? State tournaments coming up?
Yeah, so we had the district tournament this past weekend at Buckwalter facilities, which, by the way, fantastic facilities. I haven't been there often. Absolutely beautiful facilities. They have, I think, 4 courts inside the facility, and really, really beautiful place. And batting cages as well. Really cool batting cage area indoors as well. So we had the district tournament this past week. All of Beaufort and Bluffton teams at Buckwalter lost within the first round last week. So obviously competition's pretty stiff, especially when you have teams coming from Orangeburg as well as Charleston, North Charleston, and Moncks Corner as well. So a tough district to play in. But we have the state tournament coming up this week in Beaufort at my home of Burton Wells. And we got I believe the 10U and the 12U tournaments taking place in Beaufort. So we have that coming up, and then there's of course more state tournaments at Orangeburg. So yeah, we got one more weekend of basketball, and that should be it for now. And then of course, our focus will now turn towards soccer, baseball, softball, as well as flag football and lacrosse for spring sports. And we have 60 60 soccer teams at Beaufort alone this year.
Ooh,
And
wow.
we probably have even more at Buckwater. I believe we had over 600 kids for Beaufort. Buckwater had almost, I think, 1,200 kids that have signed up for soccer at Buckwater. So I have a feeling they have way more than we do. And 60 teams for just Beaufort is crazy to think about, but I can't even imagine how many teams Buckwater will have this coming spring. And that's what it is around here. Soccer is a big sport here. And then we got quite a few baseball teams as well as softball teams as well. So we're very happy about that. And then flag football, I'm excited to watch some flag football this year. It's going to be fun, as well as lacrosse, because lacrosse has really been growing here in this area.
Continues to
significantly over the last few years.
Yeah, and JP2 with a new program this year. HHCA new program last year. And then I think we're going to see an absolute explosion over the next few years because of what Kieran McCardle's doing, not only with Loco Rush, which is tremendous. Like we got legit like club type training happening. Right. But also he's doing a lot of other outreach, introducing kids to the games. He had that clinic with Beaufort County, and he's really all in on bringing the game to kids and bringing kids to the game. So that sport's going to blow up. It's going to blow up big, like right. In a way we haven't seen before. We've talked about it growing. It's growing. There's going to be a big jump in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that too.
It's really showing at the rec level, and when it shows at the rec level, eventually it's going to show at the middle school level as well as the high school level. And it's really
I don't think anybody has middle school lacrosse yet, so that's going to be the other place where it grows,
which is where I think rec lacrosse and then travel lacrosse as well is starting to grow a lot here in the area.
Yep.
Yeah. The reason is because none of the schools have really a middle school program. So most of these middle schoolers are playing rec lacrosse. And
I think that's mostly because they haven't needed it. Just because anybody who was playing was making JV teams, right? Because they just needed all the players.
At some point, the JV teams are going to get overflowed, and you're going to start seeing middle school teams pop up across all public schools.
Exactly. When you have enough middle schoolers who don't have a home, don't want to play, that's when it will happen, and that's coming soon. That's coming real soon.
Give it another 3 or 4 years, and it's really gonna show.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see middle school lacrosse teams popping up next year. I think
that wouldn't shock me either, because the numbers I've seen here at just Burton Wells alone is showing me that if we're getting that at Burton Wells, I can't imagine what Buckwater had for the lacrosse signups this year.
Yeah, I think
if it's going to grow at the rec level and continue to grow, it's gonna leak into the high school level as well.
No doubt. No doubt.
No question. I don't know, man. We had a middle school softball game tonight, and I was out there screaming my head off. So I have no idea what else was going on tonight. I know May River played Benedictine in lacrosse. That was probably a pretty good game. I know HHCA soccer had home games, and there was a lot going on, but I don't know what all happened.
I think, obviously, I can't check now because I'm using my phone. But I think Misa was given a couple of updates on that May River matchup.
Yeah, I think so too. I was about to dig.
Yeah, I have not seen a score come up yet.
It was 2-0 Ashley Ridge at halftime. Well, that one was on Beaufort's own, so we could always.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that real quick.
Probably watch the highlights of that one right quick.
Good.
Yeah.
No, the highlights ain't posted yet. Javon slacking. I mean, let's be fair. Javon broadcast a soccer match out in the rain tonight. That is not.
That's dedication right there. He's
trying to get warm.
Yeah.
Amen to that. It was a little brisk and very damp tonight. I was afraid, but what is this rain? And then all of a sudden, about 2:45, I was like, "Ooh, it looks kind of ominous out there." And then it started raining right about 3 in Hardyville. Tapered off pretty quick, and then came back around about 4:30. and rained pretty steadily until 6 or so.
You really never know this time of year.
Javon had May River girls soccer tonight. They were taking on Ashley Ridge at home. I noticed that because I saw Ashley Ridge bus as I was heading up towards Beaufort coming back.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, JJ just said that.
Yeah, that's what we were just saying. We said it was 2-0 at halftime, and it was on Beaufort Home.
We'll say Ashley that Ridge,
exceptionally good.
Yeah, I was gonna say very good, solid program. They usually are a solid program over the last few years. I've noticed that as I've been looking at teams that we will be facing from outside this area. I've been looking at the records over the last few years, and Ashley Ridge has stood out in terms of girls soccer.
Speaking of Ashley Ridge, have y'all been following that story about their girls basketball team?
Yes, I saw something about it.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. They were ruled to have had an ineligible player. That player, as I understand it, averaged 2.1 points per game, and they had won like 17 or 18 games in a row, were like 24-3 or something, cruising toward potentially a state title, and then disqualified from the playoffs. And it's become a real ugly thing because there's allegations of that it was one of our rival schools that reported it, but Cane Bay's come out and said they didn't do it. And then the other wrinkle to it was that Somerville had a very similar situation, and they heard both appeals, and they cleared Somerville, and they didn't clear Ashley Ridge. And it's become quite the storm in Charleston.
Yeah, and very interesting too, because I believe it was 2 days ago, that appeal that Ashley Ridge had made did fail. So that appeal did not work for them, and so that's it's stuff you don't want to see. If you're people like us, you don't want to see that taking place in high school sports. It's not something you ever want to see.
Nope.
Well, I mean, I think that's part of why they're proposing the one-time transfer rule, the one-time free transfer. I think it will just clean up a lot of that kind of stuff. Now it's by sweeping it under the rug, right? Like we're gonna allow this because we can't manage it. Basically, is what they're saying. Like we can't manage all this. We're just gonna let you transfer once.
It was a student that had transferred to Ashley Ridge from Cane Bay.
From Cane Bay.
Question. And, according to obviously South Carolina high school rules, I believe they have to have a 365-day wait time. Let me read it here. Yeah, the South Carolina bylaws stipulate that a transfer must sit out 365 days before becoming eligible unless one of 16 different exceptions are met. And apparently none of them were met. So that's why they got themselves into some trouble. And
it's not
something you want to see, but
it's a hard thing.
Well, if you're a coach, it just sucks for the other players, because what a season they're on such a great season, and now all those derailed because of
and I think that's where people get hung up, and they get caught up in the injustice of it. And there is certainly injustice to those kids who had nothing to do with it. But at the same time, we live in a society of like laws and norms and procedures for a reason, and it's because we have to have some semblance of order. And I mean, Max, you're coming by the school now. You understand like all the moving parts to eligibility, and
it's crazy. It's very crazy.
There's a lot of boxes to check, but it's part of the deal.
It's very stressful. It's very stressing, very taxing. But I will say the craziest part about this story is, so they were supposed to play Somerville in the state semifinals, lower state finals or upper state final, whatever it is, lower state finals, I think, for 5A Division I. Well, Somerville, of course, like you mentioned, was the other school that had an issue as well. Same kind of issue, except they were favored, and so they went on. They basically appealed, and that appeal was successful. And Somerville would move on to play in the Division I state championship game. I don't know if they won, but that's what happened. Their appeal was successful, and Ashley Ridge was not.
Right.
And that game before for Ashley Ridge, they were playing, I believe it was Ridgeview, and won 64-60 in a 4 overtime game. So that game enough is taxing on your players, and then when you find something out like this, it just becomes a bit more.
What really stinks about it to me? So Somerville didn't have to play Ridgeview.
No, they didn't. So here's what
they
happened.
just got a pass. They just vacated that spot in the bracket.
So because of this, because their appeal was upheld, and the vote was 8-5. Apparently, the same source.
The appellate board decided who the lower state champion was. I don't care for that.
I don't either. And here's the thing. Apparently, the same anonymous source was for both schools. Is from this same anonymous source that shared it. That's the original thought as I'm reading this article. Basically, the same anonymous source called out both Ashley Ridge and Somerville.
And that's where I think the narrative started, that it must have been Cane Bay. But the Cane Bay AD came out and very clearly said, we didn't do this. We wouldn't do this. This is not how we operate. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting.
And that's the crazy thing. And therefore, Somerville, their appeal upheld, they got a bye and headed to the state championship game because of it. And here's what the article reads. The South Carolina High School League bylaws state, other than first round and semifinals, if the team with the ineligible player won the last elimination game prior to the time they were declared ineligible, the game would not count, and the opposing team in the next round will receive a bye. So
it's crazy.
Even if Somerville,
why wouldn't you advance the team that lost to them?
That's my question. If you're gonna give,
clearly they decided this and they voted on it at some point.
And the craziest part was Ridgeview lost by only 4 points. 4-point difference is enough for me to say, let them go and play Somerville instead of Ashley Ridge.
Yeah,
there's your punishment.
I don't even think it matters how much they lost by. I just think that's backwards.
A 30-point game would be a 30-point game in favor of Ashley Ridge may warrant that situation.
Yeah, but still, I'm just talking on principle and
I agree with you. And I think with how close of a game that was, I think that matter makes it even more so to say, you know what? We'll let Ridgeview advance to the next round, play Somerville.
Yeah, but you can't put that in your bylaws. You can't put, if it was a close game, we'll let you.
But I think this should be part of the bylaws regardless. It doesn't matter if it's a close game or not. It should be a part of the bylaws. I don't understand why the bylaws.
But here's what I'm saying is that it is part of the bylaws that it will be vacated and it'll be a bye. So it's
the rules are there for a reason.
And they voted in favor of that rule. I'm just questioning.
But they should add within those bylaws that. They should add within those bylaws the losing team against the ineligible team should be allowed to advance to the next round.
Well, in our opinion, yes. But what I'm saying is there is a rationale for why they chose the other way.
Yes,
I would be curious to know what it is. I would be curious to know what it is.
I understand the rationale. It doesn't mean it's the right rationale.
Well, I don't know the rationale. I don't know what the argument was for why it should be the way it is instead of the way we think it should be. So I can't say that it should definitely be the way we think it should be.
This is in the article too. So Ridgeview argued that their game with Ashley Ridge was a lower state semifinal game and therefore the Blazers should advance. But the South Carolina High School League, the commissioner, Jerome Singleton, believes the lower state and upstate games are the semifinals.
Well, they all are.
They are. So the executive committee basically voted 12-0 to reject Ridgeview's request. So Somerville ended up playing on. We'll be playing the 7th. Friday. Somerville will play JL Man Blythewood. JL Man versus Blythewood winner for the state championship on the 7th at the Florence Center.
It'll be Blythewood. They beat
Ashley Ridge, by the way. Ashley Ridge with that, with that appeal to fail, they finished the season with a 27-1 record.
Well, except they're gonna have to vacate every game she played.
They will. Right? They got to vacate everything.
Yep, those will be vacated.
27-1.
So March 7th, it'll be not Ashley Ridge, Somerville against either JL or Blythewood for the 5A Division I state title.
But man, it is such a hard thing. I hate it. I hate it for all the kids. I hate it.
Right. I mean, rules are there for a reason. There's no doubt about that. But
in all likelihood, it was an honest mistake. Somebody thought that it met one of those 16 criteria and okayed it, but they were wrong. You know,
the adults in the room have to have that knowledge. I mean, it's
it does feel like there's got to be a better.
I know who Somerville is playing. Somerville will be playing Blythewood.
Dude, I already said that. You gotta start listening.
I'm not listening to anything.
I said earlier. I said it'll be Blythewood.
Said that like a minute ago.
I did. I said it'll be Blythewood. They beat Man 64-59. I said the score and everything, but you was already on to your next thing and didn't hear me.
I know.
ADHD is real.
It's frustrating to see something like that.
That's a good one. No, that's rough.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a part of that, doctor.
But it's not their fault. It's not her fault. She didn't submit the eligibility.
Yeah, she didn't know.
But it is hard. Like, there's probably a point where they were like, "Is this kid eligible?" But she really wants to play. You know, like there's a soft spot for the kid too. You want him to be eligible, and it's easy for somebody to say, they probably won't notice. You know, like I don't know what happened. It could be an honest oversight. It could be they probably won't notice. It could be a lot of things, but it sucks. It just sucks. It's a bad situation.
We've seen more of this year than I want to actually see in a full, sports season. I mean, we saw this with Great Collegiate during football. Yeah. You know, we saw this situation in football with Great Collegiate. Now we're seeing it in basketball. It's tough, and it's not really. It's not really the player's fault. It's really the school's fault for not noticing.
Not the player's fault at all.
No, you can't blame it on the. I mean, it's the adults in charge. Just like I said, they have to know those rules. I mean, especially with like that kind of significance on the line. You
Yeah,
I know it's hard. It's difficult. There's like 16 stipulations that. Makes but you can't afford to make that mistake, and I'm not going to blame it on one person. There's a group of people that should have in each school. I mean, they should have the knowledge that there are reasons of why you have to say, well, I'm sorry, but you can't play. You're eligible, so it's
I've
hard.
had that conversation with 3 kids.
Did anyone actually know she was ineligible? Like, not even just
right. That's we don't know. But it is a hard conversation. I've had to have that conversation with 3 kids already. That hey, you got your physical, you came to practice, but we just pulled the eligibility, and academically you can't play this year, and it sucks. It really sucks, but. It is what it is, I mean,
the funniest thing is,
preach to the kids that there's certain things you can control and certain things you can't. And I
mean, Justin, you and I have both dealt with that for both of our teams this year. I mean, and the funniest thing is, there's always stipulations with academic and eligibilities. Like, there's stipulations with it where it's not really the kid's fault. It's just.
Well, I mean, it is to a degree. If they didn't pass,
that's right. Well, if it's academic eligibility, like in terms
of eligibility,
it's different than other situations.
That's the thing. But ineligibility, regardless, like there's so many things to make a player eligible to play. And I mean, you and I have both seen it this season, Justin. And the funny thing is, we've all seen it this season with multiple schools from outside our area this season in multiple sports.
There was a football situation as well earlier this year.
I think that's why they're looking at the one-time transfer rule. I think it just simplifies it a little bit. You don't have to worry about it until their second transfer, right? So,
I mean, because it makes it, I would assume would it make it more difficult for charter schools if it's a one-time transfer or something like that, or is it just the same?
I mean, it shouldn't. Every kid gets one free transfer that
fair enough.
They can do it, and I mean that's the proposal. Now, of course, there's going to be some repercussions that are not foreseen.
Right.
There's always unforeseen circumstances, and they'll probably end up jacking with it again in 5 years or something because it creates new problems. But I think we have to do something because right now it's just getting to be like, why are we deciding who goes to state? Because why is a room of lawyers deciding which team goes to state? Nobody wants to see that. We gotta clean it up some way, somehow. They got to figure out some solutions because we don't need to be deciding lower state championships in a boardroom. That's crazy.
Agreed.
So anyway, boys, let's bring this thing in for a landing. It's getting late. I'm tired. I'm hungry. And we get the day off tomorrow. Final round of Loco Booster Club sponsors: Base Hit Life, baseball and softball themed apparel, great hoodies, t-shirts, hats, and more. Live your best base hit life at basehitlife.com. Dr. Ambrose Cole, our official chiropractor of Loco Sports. Find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. Reverence Wrestling Club, the official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country, getting your floors so clean your feet will thank you. And Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. You boys have any final thoughts to share with us tonight?
Well, first of all, I hope everyone stays safe tomorrow with the potential inclement weather. It's always a little frightening when you have high winds and the potential of a tornado. Not likely, but you just never know. And that's why you make the precautions you do to prevent the buses from going on the road in the mornings and to call off school for the day. But JJ,
that is it.
I expect you to be prepared and ready to go, especially with the whole day off. It's hard enough. It's really hard to have to go to a game after teaching, but you get the whole day to.
Well, I have the whole day to prep. I'm getting to see a team I've already called a game. I've already called this game once, so that's tremendously helpful. And I only got to call one. I don't got to call two, and that's a lot more brain power utilized for two.
Sure.
So I get to go into the men fresh. I won't have a warm up this time of the women's game. I get to go in fresh, but I should be able to bring big energy.
Yes. Oh, it'll be popping.
And I've been screaming at the middle school girls tonight, so my voice should be nice and raspy, which is when it's the best.
I will say this from experience because I've done this a lot with both basketball, but especially football, being that I've got a set day 9 times out of 10 that I'm calling a football game on a Friday night.
Right.
That, I wake up and on game day, it is go with the gusto, finish up the final prep at home. Obviously for me, if I have to run to WHHI, I go do that and that type of thing. And then getting there, obviously when I get there, which a lot of people say, you get there like an hour or two before the game. I'm like, no, I get there, with the rest of the production crew to help them a little bit, but to help, set up and to get everything refresh in my head. I go through just about every note. If I can talk to somebody, I have a chance to do that. If I have to catch something else from a coach, I do that as well. And then really get a chance to, eat, get things set up, and get ready to go. That's just my perspective because it's what I live on with the fact that game day is game day. You have to teach. So this might be
sometimes there's been a couple games where I was coming in hot from professional development and getting in the door 15 minutes before game started and having to call back to back. And it was a struggle. I mean, I got through it, but it was I felt like I was in the wind a few times, like I was just kind of spinning out. But tomorrow should be really fun. Should be a great one. Other parting thoughts?
I actually have one. Obviously, we talked at length about the DRI, but there was another tournament going on over the weekend at Colleton River here in Bluffton with the fellas playing, and I was really interested. I didn't go watch any of this tournament Sunday and Monday, but Lisa Richardson was there for a little bit on Sunday afternoon. I think she told me either Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. I was interested to see what Georgia Southern would do as they won the tournament last year. Well, unfortunately, they finished near the bottom. The only teams that finished below them were Penn State and Minnesota. Michigan State and Kansas State were tied, I think, at 1 under after day one. After Sunday, Michigan State ends up finishing at 1 under. Kansas State finishes at 10 over. They had a really rough finish to this tournament. Wake Forest, a great golf program. We talk about their ladies all the time. Their men are really good too, and they finished at 13 over. Chattanooga 13 over, and I mentioned some of the other schools towards the bottom. But again, like the DRI, this was a tournament that was filled with a bunch of schools from a bunch of different conferences. The Big Ten very well represented with teams like Ohio State, Iowa, Indiana. The Big 12 represented with Iowa State. Even your Missouri Tigers were in this tournament as well, JJ.
Really?
Another great tournament, and Missouri finished 32 over near the bottom. Another great tournament to talk about great golf, and the guys really showed out.
Well,
a little bit of what I heard over there at Carlton River over the weekend.
And the craziest thing is there was a Big Ten team that hosted this tournament. Michigan State was the host.
Yeah, they always host.
That's right. Yeah.
Which I find absolutely hilarious to think a team from up north hosting a
well, I
big
mean,
old here.
Yeah, they've always hosted it.
Just like South Carolina hosted DRI.
Yeah, well, because they hosted no golf tournaments in Michigan in February or March, so
right, exactly.
They come down and they play a bunch of golf, and they play
you would think like a local school like
right.
South Carolina.
No, but that's been a thing for a while. Michigan State has always, and then they'll come play like the Atlantic 10 Championship and stuff like that down here.
I mean, the number of teams in this tournament are huge. I mean, I'm looking at the list of teams. You've got, of course, Georgia Southern, Indiana, Iowa, Minnesota, Ohio State, Memphis. Penn State, Rutgers, Missouri.
That's a big range of
had a lot of great players.
A lot of northern teams coming down here, which was what you would expect.
Yeah, Iowa State, Kansas State, Memphis, Tennessee, Chattanooga, Wake Forest, East Tennessee State,
Cincinnati as well.
I mean, just so many big time D1 programs and tournaments. And it's great to see, and it shows that this is some of the best area in the country when it comes to golf courses. We just have we are so lucky here to have a plethora of courses to choose from, and I think that's why we get so many tournaments, both college and professional tournaments here over the years.
No doubt.
And Kiowa is not far either, and we know that there have been some great PGA tournaments over there at Kiowa Island.
Well, and we got Congress.
Yeah, and I mean, they got a huge
no shortage of golf.
No, not at all.
On the front of this, soccer highlights, they are up. May River was down 2-0 in half, but they came back and they had it within one. And then look at this long ball over the top. Oh, no.
Oh, my.
Oh, no.
Oh, who is your daddy?
That was equalizer.
Do that again.
It went,
Boy.
You need to see that one again?
Yeah, just one more time.
Look how long this ball is over the top, bro. Boom.
Look at that delivery.
Oh my
and
God.
then,
absolutely beautiful. The goalkeeper was way too far out.
Well, he was coming out to get it. The turf hop got him.
Yeah.
He took the big hop off the turf.
No,
so they went to penalties. And sadly, it did not go May River's way in penalties.
There
we go.
I do have a point regarding that. As much as I like penalty kicks, I'd rather games end in ties.
I agree.
100%.
I agree.
There's really no need for penalties.
Although
I will say, good to practice because you have them in playoff settings, but especially in region play, I don't like seeing penalty kicks decide wins and losses because that's a huge swing just by penalty kicks because you can go. I mean, it's like a win versus a loss is huge and. Just decide that by penalties. I
agree. I don't think I don't think soccer is a zero-sum game. I don't think soccer is a zero-sum game.
So I you guys are talking. If I could interject, you guys are talking on every level. Professionally,
professional, college.
The only time it should exist is when it's a knockout situation.
Right. Why do we do it in high school soccer? It's counterintuitive. So
yeah, I agree. I don't think we should have. I think we should have ties unless it's a knockout. If it's knockout, obviously we got to go. Right. We got something to settle it.
Yep.
But but I think we should have ties.
I could be for that.
I think a tie is a well played, result in soccer. That's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
Javon is a tiebreaker guy. He wants.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will say.
Imagine if, like, after the second overtime of basketball, they had a free throw shoot off to decide who wins.
Well, I will say, if we didn't have the penalties, we wouldn't have had that amazing game between May River and Bluffton last season.
True, I get it.
Penalties are fun, but
I do agree. I feel like we don't need to have penalty kicks. There's no need.
Not in the regular season. Save those for the knockout round.
There's always, of course, like. Always tiebreakers are always the thing to use, and
I'm with you.
I think there's a better way than that. I think penalty kicks, obviously, in the playoffs is obviously a need.
I mean, a penalty shootout is fun. I mean, it's thrilling. It's great.
It is very fun. I do enjoy it.
It feels kind of anticlimactic for a game that isn't a knockout game. It just feels kind of like what? Like, but we lost, but we played so great. I don't know. I hate that. I don't know. I'm against the penalties. Same for hockey. I love how hockey went to the taking guys off the ice. I love that.
3-on-3 is awesome. And then once the 3-on-3 ends, they go to a shootout. It's incredibly anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Anything else, Max? Did you have a parting thought?
I have a couple. Obviously, I think some of us saw Kyrie Irving have a terrible ACL injury to finish his season off.
Yeah.
He tore his ACL.
I'm not a huge Kyrie Irving fan anymore, but
it is just cursed right now. Dallas is absolutely cursed. I mean, that's
they should have traded their franchise.
I think sometimes it bites back at you after we saw what happened with the Luka trade, which was, in all honesty, a big time mistake by the Mavs. So
general manager is looking.
I'm sorry, but
an idiot right now. It's so funny to watch. I wish it burned. You know what the worst part is? Being that Kyrie is done for the year, him and Anthony Davis only played one game together. Just one. Because, of course, Anthony Davis is still injured with a abductor strain.
What a mess.
So, Nico, it's been nice knowing you, Nico, as the GM of the
the chance for thank you, Nico, or something like that for the Lakers fans and
Nico, it's been nice. It's been nice knowing you, Nico. Good luck in your future endeavors.
Do we have an answer? Do we have an answer to this? Did Javon sing tonight?
Oh, we have to look at the broadcast because
I was look at that when we get done here.
I mean, only Javon.
The other thing is,
well, I heard a couple. I heard one when I stayed home watching the basketball playoffs. I heard him.
And then the other thing I saw was Saquon Barkley has signed a contract with the Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl championship champion running back. Signed a 2-year, $41.2 million contract extension that makes him the highest paid running back in the NFL.
Did the Giants ever fumble the bag? Did the Giants ever fumble the bag with him?
You want to talk about general managers? That GM has fumbled the bag more than once. First off, giving a new contract to Daniel Jones, which where is he these days? He was like with Minnesota or something on their practice squad or whatever.
I just read, I'm not sure exactly how accurate this is, but Daniel Jones and somebody else are targeted possibly to Indianapolis to help Anthony Richardson. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who the other guy was.
Not really much of a help, but okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Are they going to teach him how to not get hurt? If they can teach him how to not get hurt, that would help.
Yeah.
But I think that's all he really needs right now.
And of course, not far from now is the start of Major League Baseball, which is crazy to think about. Of course, that Tokyo series, which starts on such a weird weekend. I've never understood why they do it so early. But the Dodgers and the Cubs going at it in Tokyo.
When is
on
that?
The 18th and 19th.
Oh,
and
wow. So Major League Baseball starts in a
Those are real games?
Yes.
So you have
those
like
are
what, 2 or 3
count.
games and you have like nothing for like a couple weeks?
Yes.
I
So
hate
those are real
that.
games that count. And then you got to wait all the way to March 29th for the first set of games, which those on national TV will be the Braves and the Padres, the Twins and Cardinals, and the Mets visiting the Astros. And then we get going from there. That's at least the games on Fox.
So
the national.
I mean, at least the
So
Cubs are playing an 800 ball in spring,
Yeah.
so maybe starting early
Yeah.
will work well for them because, I mean, we all know spring training doesn't mean anything, but I guess if you got,
I do like the Cubs with how they're looking. I'm not gonna. I don't know
I'm
if they're gonna have a great
I'm
season.
a
but I think they're
diehard,
gonna-
lifelong Cubs fan, but I refuse to be optimistic right now.
I'm gonna be optimistic
pitching
on this.
staff worries me.
I don't know if
Pitching
they're gonna have. They're not gonna have a division winning season, but I think if they stay healthy, I think they could make a shot at a wild card spot. I really do.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, sure, but the pitching worries me.
Yeah, well, pitching is.
Who's their
worrying.
big pickup this year? I remember hearing about it. I'm totally blanking on the name. Did you just mention it?
They picked up.
Well, they got the
Kyle
lefty
Tucker.
Tucker.
Tucker,
Yeah,
yeah, Kyle Tucker. That was the guy I was
Yeah.
thinking of. Yeah.
Yes.
He
I
had a
like
pretty good
the
run in
lineup.
Houston.
I like the lineup. I'm a little concerned about the rotation, and the back end of the bullpen. I'm concerned about the pitching staff. If the pitching staff comes together, then yeah, I mean they got a chance to be decent. The infield defense should be solid. You got Matt Shaw coming up to play third base. They picked up Carson Kelly, clutch pickup, I think. Good veteran catcher.
They got
Mike
Imana's been
Bush.
decent.
I'm just glad he's out of Detroit.
The outfield's excellent.
Matthew Boyd as well.
Armstrong and Tucker. I mean, so
Yes, they
Yeah.
did.
Actually, I've noticed. Well, the team that I think everyone's worried about this year is the Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
Yeah.
Team they have.
we got to get by the Dodgers. That's the other hard part about it.
Here's my question: is like because this has been discussed, of course, through all sports podcasts, and I don't think it's a discussion to be made because I don't think it's ever going to change anytime soon. Should there be a salary cap in Major League Baseball?
Well, it's probably not going to change, but it's also probably going to be. It's probably also going to be the main sticking point that leads to a lockout next year.
Well, that's my point because look at what the Dodgers have for a team. I mean, the number of all-stars they have on that team is absolutely ridiculous.
But the hard part is going to be that the players don't want a salary cap.
And I don't blame them. But it's
the
almost
Major League
getting a little
Baseball Players
ridiculous.
Association is by far the strongest players union in all of sports.
No,
they have a lot of
100%.
Yeah,
and it makes me wonder, like, because I mean, look at the contracts that have been signed lately.
Right.
Shohei Ohtani with a $900+ million contract.
Yeah.
Juan Soto, $965 million over a 15-year span.
And whether they're realistic or not, everybody believes they're going to be the next one.
You know what the funniest thing is I'm pretty sure almost 85 to 95% of that contract from Juan Soto is guaranteed money.
Oh
yeah.
Which is unreal. And so if
yeah,
he gets
they'll be paying him after Bobby
in the
Bonilla
first
is
season,
dead.
if he gets injured in his first season and can
Bobby
never play
Bonilla.
baseball again, he's going to get paid a boatload of money for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
you know,
they have the strongest union.
They do have the best union. I will say that.
Yeah,
it's the reason why. I mean, they've had lockouts before in Major League Baseball. Everybody remembers the 1994 season.
Yeah, it's been a while.
They had a lockout, and
that was awful.
We dodged a near one a couple of years ago. Where it was
that was horrible though. 94 was awful because it happened mid-season.
I remember about it. I'm glad it wasn't alive for that because I would have been.
It was just
as mad as
it was
anyone
so
else.
Depressing, dude, to be, a teenager and just be like, what? Like the baseball season's over?
Hey, you know what? You know what? It led to my Braves winning the 1995 World Series. So I can't be completely mad.
Yeah,
at
well,
anyway.
it's tough for
but the Expos were gonna
the
win.
Montreal Expos were on a run that year. And,
They were gonna.
I want to put a
they were a
petition.
unit.
I want to start a
Yeah,
freaking petition. Bring the Expos back. I want the Expos back in Montreal.
Well, the
bro.
Expos
But
got
one of these teams playing in minor league ballparks to Montreal. I know.
Oh yeah, dude. Honestly,
dude,
I'm sick and tired of seeing. Well, that's the other thing. I was like, if I'm the Tampa Bay Rays, why don't I just go play in Montreal for a little while? It shouldn't be the worst thing I'm playing.
There's a good fan base.
I'd rather see the Rays
We'd
in
love to have him
Montreal
back.
than see the freaking Athletics, which is what they're called now. No name whatsoever, just the Athletics.
The A's, yeah.
The A's. That's crazy. You're not going to have a
favorite team.
Yeah,
the Athletics of unknown origin.
Yes,
it's
like
that's what it is now. It's just ridiculous. And you know what? Sacramento is a better stadium than what they currently play.
Well,
we're off the rails.
I could talk about this all night long. That's
we're
why
off the rails. I'm tired. I got to call Presidente, and I want to watch this Dominic Eason dunk one more time.
Yes, that's a good way.
Oh yes.
Start for the Sand Sharks. Gaines gets a screen from
That gets me every time. By the way, we didn't mention, but those jerseys, those black jerseys that they have are Oh, they're so beautiful.
Man, I can't wait for tomorrow night. It is
I'll be wearing them tomorrow. Blackout.
Yep.
Are they?
Yeah.
Blackout
night.
Cove.
Black it out.
Wear black to the game. Max, if you're going, wear black.
Doesn't Lander wear black?
Well, not this time, I reckon.
Not tonight.
We're pulling rank. We're wearing the black. Bring your whites.
Cool.
So yeah, it's gonna be good times. Check it out. Yeah, I love their logo too. And
they were good.
Yep. I love their logo. And
as a Braves fan, Rayleigh, Blaine Rayleigh, I agree with you. I was a Braves fan too, and I wish the Expos were like as good as they were back.
Well, my all-time favorite player is Andre Dawson, and he came from the Expos to the Cubs. But no, I always love the Expos.
At this point, just logo. Miami.
But I also love the way they played the game. Like, I mean, Tim Raines, when I was growing up, he was leading off for them.
Yeah.
And, he was the consummate leadoff man who'd find a way on base. He laid down a bunt, get on base, steal second. They'd bunt him to third, and then they'd hit a sac fly and score.
They do add an expansion team. Forget Orlando. I know Orlando's been vying for a major league team.
We don't need more Florida baseball.
Put one back in Montreal. Obviously, look at the teams we have right now. I mean, the Braves
we need Florida baseball. That's what spring training is for.
Well, we certainly don't need the Miami Marlins. I mean, they have such a beautiful stadium, and it's such a waste because they
took them both out, put them somewhere else.
Yeah.
All right, enough baseball. There'll be many more days for baseball.
It's at least one more day. It's basketball season because we have big one tomorrow night in the Cove. Biggest one yet. I've said this for a while. I've said this a couple of times, but this is the biggest one for the Sand Sharks. First ever Peach Belt tournament game for either basketball side, and the first ever home Peach Belt tournament game for any USCB sport. So it's a monumental night, and it is going to be a ton of fun.
Let's get it on. Well, that'll be tomorrow night. I'm guessing we won't have a show tomorrow night because it'll be a late night. But we'll pick it up Thursday night and let you know our thoughts on what went down in the Cove. If you want to watch it, it'll be on the Peach Belt Digital Network. $10 for the single game or $20 for the tournament pass. And you only get to hear me on the one game, though. I will not be calling all the other games. So looking forward to it, though. Look forward to see a lot of friends in the Cove tomorrow night. Good show tonight. It was great having Jeff Riley on with us. Can't wait to see him tomorrow night with a big smile on his face in the Cove. Definitely going to make him a regular guest, keeping us posted on our friends from SOAR Special Recreation and as well as USCB, because that man knows what's going on with the Sand Sharks. And I think he's digging this. I think we're going to get him out to some more events to let us know what's going on. So looking forward to working with him. Thank you, fellas, for being the best wingmen in the business. And thanks to all of our sponsors who support us and all of you who show up to listen or watch and comment in the comments. We appreciate that. Makes it more interactive, more fun, and more of a community, which is what we're going for. So thanks again, fellas. Great show tonight. We'll see you Thursday night if we don't see you tomorrow night in the Cove. But for this episode of the LowcoSports Lowdown, that's going to do it. We got Wes Kerr, Max Araj, Marcus Walsh, and Justin Jarrett. Till next time, go Loco.
The LowcoSports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Loco!